The slithery D came out of the sea. He got all the others, but he didn't get... Today I'm going to be talking about scary stories to tell in the dark. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark was a book that was published in 1981. As a child, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, at least the first one, was a huge book for me. I got it out of the library and went home and read it and was scared. I owned it. This book is really known for its scary illustrations. It gave me nightmares when I was a kid. All these years later, I know exactly what those images look like. So when they were going to make a movie out of it, I got super excited. And then I saw the trailer.
What's that?
It's a book of scary stories.
The trailer set the bar really low. It's definitely not a kid's movie. It's definitely not an adult movie. I feel like they were marketing it toward preteens and teens. I don't know if they were the people who were actually reading this book. I really liked the feel of the film in the very beginning of it. Like, it was Halloween and they were playing Season of the Witch. They based it in the 60s. They established this group of friends, which was sort of like quirky, and it just felt sort of homey and familiar and fun. A fun Halloween movie. That only lasted for 20 to 30 minutes. They turned it into a stereotypical ghost movie. An angry, vengeful ghost who takes revenge on anyone who finds her book. And it just feels like one of your run-of-the-mill ghost stories that comes out these days. I feel like this would have worked maybe as an anthology film or as a flashback film with people who are older thinking back to them reading the books and then it coming... I don't know. Anything would have been better than what they did. A lot of the monsters that they chose to bring to life on screen were done with practical effects, I think. But then CG over the practical effects. What's the point of even doing the practical effect if you're just going to make it look like it's all CG anyway? And the computer graphics were bad. They were just plain bad. Obvious. They took you right out of the movie. There was a lot of explaining the plot while the plot was happening. Like, they thought their audience wasn't smart enough to pay attention, I guess. The audience was not filled with children. The audience was filled with 20 to 30-year-olds. We don't need to be told what we're watching. It's very, very strange choice. I can't tell you how many times they said, the book writes itself.
Stories write themselves and it all comes alive.
We can see it, literally see it writing itself. You do not have to tell us again and again and again that the book is writing itself. We know. One of the biggest actors that they had was the guy who plays Hank in Breaking Bad. He did absolutely nothing. He played the lead character's dad. At some point, she calls him from the police station and says some really cryptic, scary shit, like, if I disappear, just know that I didn't leave you. And he's just like, oh no, honey, don't say that. What's wrong? What's wrong? Like, why aren't you running out there trying to find your daughter? There's this, like, half-assed character building that they tried to do with the lead girl. Like, her mom left. It's a really sad and lazy attempt to try and give her a backstory. One of my biggest gripes with this film is that the stories themselves that they are based on are not even followed correctly in the movie. They took the stories from the book and molded them to make sense within their world and their characters. In the first book, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, there are a lot of urban legends, and they missed the opportunity to tell these scary, freaky urban legends. In all of these wonderful cinematic stories, they just chose not to bring to the screen, which is really strange, and yet they include stories that just don't seem to translate onto screen very well. I don't know why they made this movie this way, other than as a quick money grab, which is really, really sad because this movie means a lot to a lot of people. This book means a lot to a lot of people, and we were all very excited to see it come to life on screen. And we didn't actually get to watch the book come to life on screen. We got to watch this weird, bastardized version of the book come to life on screen. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 10. I'll never watch it again. I'll never suggest anybody else watch it. And I hope that someday somewhere, someone decides to make a good movie based off of scary stories to tell the audience. One of the characters was reaching for the keys on the cop's belt and actually says, keys, like to tell the audience, we all know you're reaching for the keys. Why do you have to tell us that you're reaching for the keys? I'm reaching for the key. Like, no, duh, you're reaching for the keys. Was that too mean?